How to survive your first week without alcohol. My name is Dr. Alex George and it's been over 2 years since I had my last drop of alcohol, and I've learned so much about the process of becoming alcohol free, but also the benefits and how amazing this life can be. But I do acknowledge how difficult that first week can actually be, and so this video is a step-by-step guide of getting through that first week to make sure you leave that week feeling empowered, enriched and motivated for what's next. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, perhaps you're sober curious, then this video is definitely for you. Before we do start, please do subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. We've got a new video every single Sunday. Okay, first thing to cover is why is it so difficult in that first week? Now, if you are like me and you grew up in your teenage years and through your 20s of using alcohol to socialize, it's a part of your life, it's how you celebrate, it's how you commiserate, it's just part of what is in your existence, then removing this thing can be quite challenging on multiple levels. First of all, socially. If it's part of your social routine, all of a sudden you think of like, what do I do differently? Do I still socialize? Do I go to the pub? What do I do now? Then there's also your coping mechanisms. If it's your Friday night de-stress, the thing that you use to try and relax in the evening, that's going to be something you need to replace. There's also the kind of physical craving side. So when you remove alcohol, of course, alcohol is addictive. And, in that sense, even if you don't have, alcohol addiction in the sense that you're really struggling to remove alcohol at all, on a even micro level, you do crave alcohol. So part of it is the alcohol itself, but also the sugar cravings that you get. Alcohol is really calorific. When you remove alcohol, you're removing lots of calories from your diet. Often we want to replace that. So there's lots of these things that are going on in your life, from cravings to mood swings to questioning, what now? Like, how do I live this life, that can make that first week difficult and indeed can spill over to the weeks and months afterwards. So the first thing to do is to really acknowledge that it can be difficult. It's not to be negative and be down the dumps, like, oh, this could be rubbish, because actually, if it was so rubbish quitting alcohol, no one would do it. I wouldn't be over 2 years not drinking alcohol if it wasn't a good decision. I think it's really important to say as well that even if this is your 10th time trying to have a break from alcohol, quitting alcohol, that's okay. Like, most of us have had that situation. It's a judgment-free zone. This could be the breakthrough for you for achieving that time period without booze or quitting completely. Let's be positive and let's do it together. So tip number 1 is plan ahead. So if you know that, say, on Sunday you're going to stop drinking and you've got a period of time, or perhaps you're embarking on alcohol-free living, that that's going to be day number 1, then plan ahead for that. So think about things like removing alcohol from the house. Make sure temptation isn't there. Let some of your close friends know that you're planning to quit. This is really helpful in terms of sticking to your goal, but also getting support. I mean, lots of studies show that if you tell a friend that you're quitting alcohol, you're much more likely to stick at it. It makes sense. Accountability helps. But also, it's not just about being accountable, it's about being well supported. If you tell your friends, I'm quitting alcohol, and if they're good friends, they should want to support you. And they're less likely to say, oh, go on, have a drink, because they know this goal is important to you. Perhaps even say to them, look, I know in the past I said I wanted to quit, it hadn't worked out, but I really want to give this a go. It's really important to me for X, Y, Z. Please, can you support me? Most good friends, if you do that, will help you through. Another important part of planning is to make sure that you create time for self-care in your week. It's not going to be easy to quit the booze. We need to nurture this person, not bully them. So make sure that you've got nice opportunities for maybe going out for a gentle walk, for meditation, watching your favorite film, hanging out with your best friend, to help you feel nurtured and supported. Also, really important with the craving stuff is plan the meals ahead. Think about what you're going to eat and when, because nutrition is very important. It helps you feel energized, supported. If you're kind of craving sugar, you're feeling slumped, you're more likely to turn to not just sugar, but think, do you know what, I do need a drink. So that's a really important one. Think about the food, what you've got there to fuel you and support you through the week. Number 2, replace the ritual. So often it's not actually the drink that you really miss, it's the ritual. Now, of course, my videos are created for those that are choosing alcohol-free lifestyle. I don't suffer from addiction, so I'm not talking from that place. But I think for many people, it's actually the act of having the drink, the significance of stopping to unwind on a Friday and have a drink, to mark a sunny day with having a bit of booze. That is the kind of stuff that we create as this feeling of like self or sense of self, or that is the thing that we do to feel good, and therefore it ties into our personality, it ties into our way of life. And what we actually have to do is break this feeling that being stressed equals needing a drink, or Friday night we crack open the bottle, or sunny day we need to have, drink, outside in the park. So much of that stuff can be, broken down, and you can realize actually Friday night, I'm going to hang out and have dinner with my friends, don't need a drink. Saturday, let's go out for a run and a brunch. I'm stressed, let's have a hot bath for my favorite film. It's finding these non-alcoholic alternatives to this current ritual that provides you that sense of enjoyment, fulfillment, or relaxation that the ritual itself is designed to do. So look for ways to replace the booze with other good things. Tip number 3, expect emotional fluctuations. It's part of quitting alcohol. You're so used to having booze in your life, mentally, emotionally, physically. You're removing this thing. It's unlikely you're just going to feel immediately amazing. I think this is kind of missold idea that you quit booze and you feel amazing, fantastic. You open the curtain in the morning, everything's amazing. It's not quite as simple as that. You'll get there and you get to that point, but you have to do the work first. And I think it's accepting that to an extent. Like, if we know something's going to be hard, for example, if you're going to go and run outside, going for a run for 10K is going to be hard. Knowing it's hard means that you're expecting it to be difficult and you're going to overcome that. If you went out and you thought running was easy and all of a sudden the first K was so hard, you're probably quite likely to be put off. And I think that's kind of what can happen here when you quit alcohol. Because if you think, actually, when I quit, I'm going to feel amazing, I'm not going to be hungover and I'll feel fantastic. Yeah, you might feel good at points, but you're also going to feel, feel rough, or gosh, I feel like I'm craving the booze, or I'm bored, or I'm sad, or all of a sudden like the thing that I was blocking with alcohol is coming up and I need to think about it. The emotional fluctuations are normal. And the good news is, and that's what I would say to people, trust yourself to move through them. Replace the booze with other grounding techniques. Could be mindfulness, meditation, going for a walk, yoga, having a swim, hanging out with a friend, reading a book, whatever you want to do. Use coping mechanisms, but also just trust yourself that it will pass. Sit with it a little bit. Trust and know that, as a tattoo says on my arm, this too shall pass. You will feel better again. Just don't turn to the booze. Tip number 4, prioritize sleep hygiene, because sleep often gets worse before it gets better. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I've talked about this. I've made dedicated videos on sleep and alcohol because it's such a big topic. So many of you in the comments have said, oh my gosh, the first few weeks and even months of quitting booze, I didn't sleep well, it affected my sleep so much, and then it took a long time to get to the sober sleep, which is magical. That's a very common experience. It doesn't happen to everyone. It's a very common experience. And I go into why in that video. So if you haven't already, and sleep is something that you're worried about or that's difficult, check out my video on sleep. You can go to the YouTube page on my homepage and you can scroll through and find it. So what I would say is, going into that first week, really think about supporting your sleep. Sleep hygiene, that doesn't mean necessarily having a shower, although that can be part of it. What I'm talking about is the preparation you do for sleep at night, and it starts in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, first thing you do is open the curtains, get natural light into your eyes, ideally go out for a short walk, because that tells the brain it's morning. When it knows it's morning, that signals to your circadian rhythm, your sleep cycle, that you're going to need to sleep in 15 hours. So good sleep hygiene starts in the morning, not the evening. Now, you're probably going to feel a little bit up and down emotionally. Perhaps you'll feel a bit anxious. So I'd really be careful with caffeine actually in that first week. If you drink a lot of coffee, don't pull caffeine out as well, because you're trying to do 2 or 3 things at once. Just be mindful not to have coffee, strong coffee after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because it can affect your sleep. In the evening, do some light exercise around 5, 6 o'clock, or even go to the gym if you'd like to. And then as you get towards your bedtime, about an hour before bed, really try and unwind. So no blue light, so it means no screens like this. If you're going to watch television, make sure it's in a dark room. It's not like horror films, relaxing television. Read a book, unwind. If you're going to go for a shower or have a bath, then have a hot one. Why? Because when we heat our body up, when we get out of the shower, we cool down. That cooling process tricks our brain into sleep, essentially. What we want to do with our sleep hygiene is encourage the rise of melatonin in our brains. So if you think about it, waking in the morning is all about cortisol. Cortisol rises, it wakes us up, gets us ready for the day. In the evening, we want cortisol to dip down, stress to lower. We want melatonin to rise. Melatonin likes darkness, quiet, darkness, relaxation. So if you create an environment of that, melatonin will rise, it'll help you sleep. The final thing I would say about sleep is just be Be patient and understand that it might be rough for a while. You might do all the stuff I'm saying and still find it difficult to have a good night's sleep. That's okay, it will come. Trust that process. Tip number 5, social pressure is real, so be ready for it. Now, good friends will support you through not drinking, but there are lots of good friends that also, unfortunately, don't understand what you're doing. Perhaps they're not in the same place as you, so they might not mean to pressure you, but they'll say little things like, oh, that's a shame, or oh, you're not going to have a beer, it's so sunny. And they may not push you as far as saying, go on, drink, but there might be these little nudges that kind of could derail you. So I think it's really important to have a line ready for if someone says to you, why are you not having a drink? Something along the lines of, I'm taking a break from it for now, for my health, or I'm trying alcohol-free living. It's something I've always been tempted to do. I want to feel fit and healthy. Or you could just say, look, I'm quitting drinking for now. I'd love you to support me. Something like that. Have whatever you feel comfortable with ready to answer them. Don't feel like you need to over-explain. Definitely don't apologize, and own what you're doing. Most people in my experience will turn around and say, oh, that's really cool, good on you, I've been tempted to do it, but people want to talk about it. But for those people that do try and pressurize them, just remember your why. Do not give in to peer pressure. Remember your why. Know that ultimately it's only you that has to live your life. You are the person that lives in your skin and in your mind. You have the right to choose this life. If they're trying to push you, don't hang out with them. Would be my honest answer. A good friend will not push you to drink, especially once you've said, look, I'm taking a break from alcohol, or I don't want to drink, I'm trying this new way of living, or whatever it is. They should be accepting that. But be prepared, know that people might ask, and have an answer ready. I've also made other videos around how to go to parties or social events without drinking, and some of the kind of tips and advice that I have about managing that. So check out those videos. Number 6 is track how you feel. Journaling is very helpful, and it's not just about journaling, thoughts in terms of worries and that, but it also can be just general mood. And you can look at throughout the day, like when are you feeling good, when are you feeling less yourself, when are you struggling, when you're emotionally high and low. And it gives you an idea of not only when these things are happening, what they feel like, but also what things you did at the time that helped or made them worse. Or it might tell you, well, actually, I often feel great in the morning, but the evenings are not so good. I need to support myself more there. Now, you can use different journals from online, but you could use something as simple as notes on your phone, writing the date at the top or the day of the week, and literally putting like morning, midday, evening, and just writing a few words about how you felt and what you did. It also allows you in a few weeks' time to track the progress and see the change. So you can actually look at, well, actually I started feeling like this, but I got better and better. And it's that sense of progress, which is nice. So I've actually used mood tracking with depression. So I started antidepressants earlier this year, and I just basically did that. I just wrote to the top of in my notes, I just wrote the date, how I was feeling, what I did, how I supported myself. And I just put like 1 to 10, like a number of 1 to 10 of how I felt. And it was really useful because you kind of think you'll remember how you felt, but you won't. If I said to you, what were you doing 2 weeks ago Tuesday, it would be really difficult to remember that. And if I said, how do you feel 2 weeks Tuesday? You're like, I don't know, did I feel good or not? It's useful to have it written down so you can see it easily, you can understand how you're feeling, and also you know then what am I going to do to support myself and to feel better in the times when I don't feel so good. A bonus tip is that when you're tempted, and you will be tempted in those first few weeks, that's normal and natural. You're not a failure, there's nothing wrong with you for feeling tempted to have a drink or having a craving. Just use this. Pause, allow space and time, and reflect. Because actually, if you go, oh God, I feel like having a drink, you go, do you know what? I'm going to sit with this for an hour and see how I feel in an hour. An hour will go by, and I guarantee you that craving will come down. You'll probably most likely have the craving if you have friends over or if you go to the pub, right? Sit with that feeling for an hour. Go, do you know what? I'm going to have an alcohol-free drink, or I'm going to have a water, whatever it'll be. I'll allow an hour, see how I feel. I guarantee you in an hour's time, that feeling will pass, and you'll feel probably a bit of dopamine, a reward for sticking at it. And then just reflect, where did that come from? Why did I feel that way? Of course, well, because when I used to go to the pub, that's what I'd do, I'd have a drink. Or when my friends come around, it's sunny, I'd crack open a beer. It's part of the ritual. I just need to slowly step away from this and let this pass. And it does change. So just create some space, a pause, create some time, reflect, and then be proud of yourself. Every time you have that craving, you get through it, it's another step in the right direction. Guys, I hope this video has been useful. Let me know your thoughts on the tips that I've given. If you're someone that has done this process, has been through that first week, maybe you're well into your alcohol-free journey, or maybe right at the start, please do share any tips and advice you have in the comments below, because it might really help someone that's right at the beginning of that journey. And of course, I have my ideas, but I'm not the oracle of knowledge, and there's so much stuff that I don't know and ideas that I haven't had. So please do share it in the comments below. And a reminder, of course, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Well, I'll see you all in the next one. Good luck if you're starting out or whatever part of that journey you're on. Take care and goodbye.